but I could hear Marty yelling, "What the fuck are you doing, Ruffalo? Get on your mark! Get on your mark!"
Do you remember your first meeting with Michel Gondry?
I do, very much. We met at a little bar next to a hotel in New York City. I really wanted to play the part of Stan.
Oh, shit. This is terrible. He's off the map. He's off the map.
Where?
I don't know where. What do you mean? I don't know where.
And I went in there and his English wasn't so great. And he's like, why do you want to play the part of Stan? Now I see him, and I explained, it's shaved on the sides and big on the top. He's like a faux hawk. He's like, a pompadour? And I said, yeah, kind of like a pompadour. And I told him, you know, he sits and he plays his bass at home and he's into the Clash. And he's like, I like this. And we really hit it off, and I had an amazing time on that movie. We were improvising most of that movie. We were shooting 30,000 feet of film a day, which is crazy. It's just so much film. He'd have 3 cameras rolling all day long. So we were just playing all the time. And that scene, he's like, get up and dance on the and we ended up there dancing in our underwear. And yeah, that made it into the movie. We would be goofing off, and then we'd look and the camera was rolling, and then we would just start the scene, you know? It was like that the whole time.
We already screwed up the amount of tips we got on this thing, and you've just freaked out the entire state. I've got Napo, Vallejo, and DOJ looking at me sideways, and Riverside's telling me I'm on a snipe hunt.
What was your preparation for that role? Because it was one of your first roles where you impersonate someone.
There was no money in the budget. I wanted to go to San Francisco to meet him. And they said, well, here's his phone number, but we can't pay for it. And so I called him and I said, hey, I'm gonna play you in the movie. And he's like, who are you? And I said, I'm Mark Ruffalo, I'm an actor. You're gonna play me? And I said, yeah. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, I'd like to come up and spend some time with you, ask you about yourself. Okay, I mean, I'll be at work. I mean, you could come and you can see me at work if you want. And so I was like, okay. And he was a security guard. And I sat with him in his little shitty office. And then we went out and had lunch. We started to drink, and then that's usually when people start to open up to you, you know. When you're playing someone, you want to get them out and start drinking with them as soon as possible. First, you have to tell them a bad story about yourself so they know that they're safe with you, you know? And then after a while, they start to open up to you.
I heard that David Fincher, for you, is a hero.
I mean, Alien, Fight Club, I mean, he's like one of the all-time great directors and a really great friend to me. When I directed my movie, he gave me space and he gave me a private course in directing.
You got like fever or something, man?
Oh man, I learned how to move a camera. I learned how to tell a story using the camera, using cinema instead of just dialogue. And then editing. He was there editing with me. He'd come in and he'd watch it, and he said to me, he's like, okay, you see that scene? When did you shoot this scene? I was like, well, that's about 2 weeks into the... He's like, that's when you became a director. And Fincher sitting next to me giving me notes. It was beautiful, man.
And for Shutter Island in 2010, your first link was to see classic noir movies.
Yes. We were in this big, beautiful theater, man, with Scorsese.
Yeah.
And Leo and some of the other cast. It's one of Scorsese's prints, you know? And he's explaining the movie to us before, and then he teaches us afterwards. We watched the movie and I said, hey Marty, I'm thinking maybe my character watched this movie and he's playing Robert Mitchum. So he's pretending like he's Robert Mitchum in this movie. And he's like, yeah, kid. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, try that.
The world doesn't work that way. They got an electrified fence around a septic facility. Ward C is inside a Civil War fort. A chief of staff with ties to the OSS, funding from UAC. I mean, Jesus Christ. Everything about this place stinks of government ops. What if they wanted you here?
One time, for some reason, the camera was not on its mark. I was on my mark. But I could hear Marty yelling, what the fuck are you doing, Ruffalo? I'm like, get on your mark! Get on your mark! And I'm looking down, I'm like, I am on my mark, Marty. Well, what the fuck's going on out there? Bob, what the fuck are you doing? There was another time I came running in and I jumped on his platform where he was sitting, but it was on wheels. And so the whole box I jumped on and the whole box started sliding across the set. Yeah, it was stuff like that. He'll never work with me again.
No.
Well, and that I've done a Marvel movie now.
Target angry!
When Marvel proposed you the role of the Hulk, what was your first reaction?
I was like, I don't know, I don't think I can do this. You guys got the wrong guy. I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to do a good job in this. I don't know what I would add to it that Ed hasn't done. Or I kept meeting with Joss Whedon. He really believed in me. And then finally, Robert Downey called me and he was like, Ruffalo, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know, Robert. I don't know if I'm confident enough to do this. And he said, come on, Ruffalo. We got this. And then at that point, I'd made a promise to myself that I wouldn't do anything unless I could read some of it. So he's like, okay, listen, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna slip you 25 pages of the script. Read these scenes and see if it's something that you think you could do well with. And that was the scene when Widow finds him in India. What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
And what if the other guy says no? And I was like, this is really good. I think I could do something with this. I know, it's crazy. I'm wearing shirts now. All the years that I've been in theater, it was strange because the oldest form of acting really suited the most kind of the newest form of acting, which was really getting into the green screen, you know? Because when you're in the theater, you're out there, you know? You have to use your imagination much more than in a movie, you know? So it worked out really well.
We gotta nail these scumbags. We gotta show people that nobody can get away with this. Not a priest or a cardinal or a freaking pope.
So I've been an activist, environmental activist, and a peace activist, a social justice activist for a long time. I was starting to produce movies, and I was thinking, okay, what kind of stories do I want to tell? So I was looking to find something that touched on activism, but also my art form, you know? And I saw the power that Spotlight had, you know what I mean? That's changed the church, it's changed the world. All these fucking assholes who are doing this stuff to kids are getting caught now. They were running around out there. And I really saw the power of cinema, if it's good, if it's entertaining, you know? To educate people, to even have an impact.
Mitch, are you telling me that the Catholic Church remove legal documents from that courthouse?
Are you going to be more and more attracted to that kind of political and engaged stories?
If it's right, you know, I don't think all those stories rise to the level of a movie, you know? It has to have all those right elements. And this one did. I mean, I like that genre, it's interesting to me, but I'm doing this other thing now. It's a book that I've really liked. It's an HBO show, I Know This Much Is True. And that's something that about being a man in this world today and how to be a man, and like, you know, the things that we were taught, like violence is the answer, isn't working anymore for us, you know. So telling that in a story for other men was important to me.
DuPont is knowingly poisoning 70,000 local residents for the last 40 years.
When I play real people, it's like journalism to me. It's reportage. You have to tell the truth about those people, and you have a responsibility for that. So that's been something that I thought was interesting to meld together. I think if it works, it can be a public service. Like today, this movie's taken me to Washington, D.C., to Capitol Hill to testify. Today I'm going to the EU to testify with Rob Bilott. I know most of the people who've seen this movie went and threw their Teflon out. That's a public service, keeping people safe, giving them the choice of poisoning themselves, you know, letting them know that you could, hey, this is poisoning you, you want to keep using it, no one else is going to tell you this. That's a public service.
You are very close to be a political figure. Do you feel it, or?
Not now. Maybe when I'm older, I don't know. Too young.
You're too young?
I don't know. I'm older than Macron.